Bloodwolf Arts Studio. Unleash the artist within.
Welcome to Bloodwolf Arts Studio, and I'm your host, Mr. Moonlight. So today we're going into the next poem in my series in my collection of poetry, The Seasons of Life, Volume 1, Autumn. And this poem was written on September 24th, 2011, shortly after the last one was written. And this one is titled Sonnet 1. And when I wrote this one, I was still finishing up my last year of high school, and like I mentioned in my other video, I was putting together the formatting of this book. The ideas were all coming together of what this was going to look like in the long term. Like the vision was coming together. And of course, it was my writing in high school that inspired me to pick up this possibility of writing again and start to explore um, writing and poetry. And this was one of those points in my schooling where I was experimenting. And that's why the title is Sonnet 1. I was learning how to write a sonnet. And there was a lot of sonnets I was reading. I think it was Shakespeare's sonnets, which I really, for some reason, I found myself really enjoying things like Shakespeare, like the style and the writing, even things like the Bible, like that old style. That's something I always seem to kind of resonate with. And I could read it and gather what it was saying without very much studying of it. I don't know. It was almost like another language. It just, um, I don't know, because I guess the style of the writing and the words, um, it's kind of like how it dances around a topic or a subject and it uses kind of words to describe it, I guess. That's kind of how it feels. Very indirect, read between the line kind of stuff. And I would just pick up on it very quickly. And I enjoyed the style, I enjoyed the writing. But I was reading, I believe it was Shakespearean sonnets. And I was learning about sonnets, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to write one. And so I decided to give it a shot, and that's how this came out. And the sonnets I was reading, it was like a whole series of them. And they were titled Sonnet 1, Sonnet 2, Sonnet 3. Like there was a whole series of them, and I thought that'd be cool. Maybe I'll end up doing something like that. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the line in a whole separate piece of work I will. But that was the idea behind writing this. And this one really captured a lot of the places that my mind went to at nighttime. And that's kind of the feel of this poem was there's very much a feeling of when things are quiet, the world around me goes quiet, then like this is where my thoughts go to. And it just goes into kind of the mind loops. And I would even say um, it was like the thought patterns that had become a part of my regular everyday life. Like this was just how my thoughts were now. It's like my thoughts would cycle through the same kind of things. And it was like this was just my life. Cycling through the same things like getting married, um, being spiritual, like up in the church, pleasing my parents, pleasing the leadership of the DCCS, being in line with the fathers of the girls I was interested in that I wanted to court and marry, and then finding a balance between things like writing my poetry and doing schoolwork, um, and the dream I had at the time to be a teacher, to build a school, and all these other things, like all these things where I was like, am I wasting my time with this? Am I being too focused on my arts? Should I be focusing more on God, on church, on work? And my thoughts really went to these places constantly. And this poem just captured a lot of where my mind went to when everything went quiet. It's like when everything goes quiet, then the thoughts get loud. And this was a pretty good idea of what was like my default setting or my default go-to when everything got quiet. And in the end, then this poem really just um, settles into resigning that whatever happens with my life to God and being like, well, whatever my life turns out to be, it's just going to be whatever God gives me. And that's just my lot in life. And that's really where a lot of my thoughts growing up went to, is like, well, I don't really have a say in where my life goes. You know, it's going to be up to my dad. It's going to be up to the leadership. It's going to be up to God. And all those three people, as far as was concerned, was the same thing. Parents, specifically dad, the leadership, and God were basically kind of all the same thing. And, you know, where I'd work, where I would um, go to school, what I would learn, that kind of stuff was just kind of all the same thing. And at the end of the poem, then I basically just like resigned to this idea. It's like, well, whatever God says, you know, as long as I'm pleasing God and I'm going for being connected to God, which again in the DCCS is the same as following the leadership and my dad and my mom, and it's like my mom, but mainly my dad. You know, because it all ties through the patriarchal system in the DCCS, and essentially it's just like, well, whatever God says, that's where my life's going to go, and all this stuff is just worries and stuff of ultimately probably doesn't really matter because I don't really have a say anyways. Not really. It's like I kind of have a say, but not really, because that's kind of the illusion of choice that you have inside the DCCS. And ultimately, it's just like, yeah, well, if God wills it, then you know, I'm having faith that all these things will be given to me, like I've been told they will be, and whatever they are, then I'll just accept it, and it'll be whatever it is. So that's um, the bottom line of what this poem entails. As on top of exploring what a sonnet is and experimentation in my writing. So thank you for tuning in, and remember to like my video, follow my YouTube and Facebook page, Blood Wolf Art Studio. You can also follow me on TikTok as Mr. Moonlight Rhyme. That's my handle across all my platforms. And still haven't figured out the TikTok issue, so it's not really new content being put up over there, which is fine. I'm currently working on getting the website up that connects everything together. So, like the video, there's a link to my books down in the description down below. You can take a look, and I'll be having the reading of my poem just right after this in just a minute. So, thank you for tuning in, and welcome to my side of the moon.
Sonnet 1 by Aaron Brown. Peace, quiet, signs of night upon me. And with the night comes my wonder, thoughts of love and thoughts of worry. My head long seeks to find answers. Hope and fear makes my every move to move in ways to find a mend, to live Father's eternal groove, leading me to life without end. Not simply for one goal I rhyme, if high heaven's king wills it be, to find love sealed before time. Eternal love I hope to see. Yet, if I will, with all my might, I'll find Father's eternal light.